we want to thank everybody for joining us here on Unknown Philosophers Traveler Series. I'm here with Michael Gatti, head of Scottish Rite here in Phoenix. Today we're going to learn a little bit about him and learn a little bit about Scottish Rite. I'm also part of the fraternity. I'm a 32nd degree. I'd like to introduce you all to Brother Michael Gatti. How you doing today?
Doing great, Briggs. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this backdrop that we have up here. This is incredible. It really sets the vibe for like what we're going to do tonight, which is awesome.
We are here at our secret speakeasy.
Yeah, undisclosed location. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Masonically, I got into the fraternity in 2012. Kind of jumped in head first. I did a little bit of research about Masonry, and just a little bit of the secrecy kind of intrigued me.
Yeah.
But for me it was more of the esoterics. It was more of the knowledge and the learning and kind of the enlightenment journey that I was really drawn to. So I really kind of focused on that, and went to my lodge and showed up, and they offered me some dinner, which I thought was cool. Met a bunch of old people, and at the time, I feel like in the last probably 5 years, the fraternities kind of started to see a shift, see a change, right? So, even just in 2012 when I was there wasn't very many young people in the fraternity. And so, got involved in my Blue Lodge, immediately jumped into the officers line, got involved there, worked my way up, and became a master of the lodge. I'm a two-time master of Peoria Lodge number 31
Wow.
in Peoria, Arizona.
2 years.
2 years, not back-to-back either.
Okay.
Yeah, so did 1 year. Actually jumped to the senior warden. Unfortunately, the senior warden wasn't proficient to move on, and I was, so took that spot, and then he was proficient to go in, and so I actually went back and filled my spot as senior warden since I had never done a senior warden's role. So went back and did that, and then just cycled through again. So it was great. Got a lot of stuff done. Introduced a lot of new things to the lodge, which I think is a good thing. One of my favorites personally is the Public Safety Award Dinner.
Okay.
Honestly, I think it's the only one in the state. We've done it 3 or 4 years now. Unfortunately, last year we didn't do it. This year's been, we were thinking about doing it in the fall. We'll probably wait till March, which is when we usually do it. But what we do is we recognize the Peoria medical, so we have Peoria Fire, Peoria DPS, and then Peoria Police Departments. And we bring them all in for a nice evening, a nice plated, seated down dinner. And I reach out to all of the higher ups, so the chief of the fire department, and I got other contacts with the police department, everybody else, and I have them nominate one of their officers for whatever reason it could be. And the only thing that we ask them for is we want it to be an extraordinary, something extraordinary in the community.
Okay.
Right. So not just all they did their job the way they were supposed to. We want, give me something good. Yeah, right. So they come in, we get them a nice crystal plaque, says thank you for your service.
That's
great. We give them a gift card, to go get dinner at a nice restaurant, something. But it's a night to really support the local fire, police, and then DPS or highway patrol. But it's great. We get them to come in. I remember the one that we had last year. 2019. I feel like 2020 didn't exist.
I know.
Right? I say
what happened?
I say last year, and it's gone. So the one we had in 2019, the fire department came in, and they actually asked if they could honor the entire, I don't know what you'd call it, the 4 of them, right? The shift, right? Yeah, right. And so, of course, that's what we think,
That's
right?
Awesome.
And they had a boating accident over in Lake Pleasant, and 2 of the people were missing, didn't know where they were, so they got on it, hopped out there, and they were able to rescue everybody on the boat, and even had to bring some people back to life that were drowning, basically.
Saving lives every day.
Literally saving lives, and it was an extraordinary story. So we get to hear these great stories, and so for me, it's that aspect of Masonry in the community. What impact, what difference can we make, and what impact can we honor people who are doing, right? So if they're having an impact, let's bring it to light and let's thank them for it, right?
Yeah.
So in the Blue Lodge, that's what I kind of focused on there, and I'm so happy that we continue to do the Public Safety Award night every year. But in 2012, I also joined Scottish Rite, so it was back to back. I got my third.
Wow.
I got my 3rd degree on my birthday. It was September 25th, actually. I remember it was like the easiest day to remember when I got raised. And I think that October or November, the Scottish Rite was doing their degrees, and so I signed up. To be completely honest with you, I was so new to Masonry, I had no idea what I was signing up for. And the only reason at the time that I signed up for Scottish Rite was the fees, the initiation fees were half price. for anybody under 30.
Nice.
Right? And it was like they were trying to
I'll set it up.
Yeah, I'm like, wow.
Check it out.
And the secretary at the time was like, hey, this is going away at the end of the year. If you want in, now's a good time, right?
Yeah.
Sign me up, right? So I signed up, got involved, went through, all of the degrees. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see all of them. That weekend, we did it in one weekend. We did the 5 obligatories and a handful of other degrees. Most of it was communicated to us. It was so fast, it was such a blur that for me, I remember that happening. I remember that being like, that's cool on a 30-second, but like, what did I just go through? Right? It was so much to kind of just ingest and kind of take in. And so thankfully for me, it didn't take long before I kind of went through my master years in Peoria and was looking for something else to do. And then that's when I really got involved in Scottish Rite. So probably 3 years ago, I really kind of got involved with Scottish Rite. There's so many things that have come out of the Scottish Rite for me. For me, it's bigger, it's larger. We're helping so many more people. We've got Rite Care where we're helping students and ASU students with their speech and vocab and everything else. I mean, it's so much more impactful in that aspect of the community and of the state that it far, unfortunately, outshines the Blue Lodge's activity.
Sure.
Each Blue Lodge can only do so much, but collectively, we can do it together.
And you guys are.
And we are. Right? Yeah, exactly. And so the last year or so, I went, a couple of years ago, I was the head of the Rose Croix. And so our main job there was to take care of our widows, make sure we had a widows night. So we planned a nice night for them to go out, and we actually took them to the symphony, took them to the Phoenix Symphony.
Wow, that must have been amazing.
Took them to a dinner afterwards. Yeah, I loved it. It was something new, something exciting to do. So did that, and then
I've never been to a symphony.
Dude,
yeah, I know. I know. Surrounded by divinity, right?
Yeah, and it's like you hear music nowadays,
and
it's great, right? I mean, I'm a huge lover of it.
But that movement.
But you feel the live instrument. So immediately asked me if I wanted to hop into the Lodge of Perfection, and sure, I've got nothing going on, but why not? Let's hop in. So they threw me into the junior warden seat like right away. So right off the bat, it kind of put me to the top, and so 2 years later, I am now the Venerable Master.
Amazing.
And so, running the Lodge of Scottish Rite for the last 2 years. We'll count 20. I didn't do much last year, unfortunately. Did a lot of virtual stuff, tried to do some virtual trainings and virtual learnings, education pieces like that, but it was hard getting everybody together. And so now we're working on kind of rebuilding the Scottish Rite, more so that and I want to use the word young in a different way, not young in age, young in membership, right? How long have they been a Mason? Because we're starting to learn.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, right. So when I mean young, I mean early.
Yeah.
Right? They've been in Mason. They could be 50.
Yeah,
they've
been in Masonry for a few years.
Yeah, a few years.
Sure.
Right. And I've started to notice that these younger Masons are far more driven for the learning than they are for the fellowship and the camaraderie.
Yes.
They get plenty of
education.
The education. Right? They get plenty of that elsewhere. I mean, we got social media where they've got friends and they're
totally
hanging out
different generation.
Weekend, totally different, right? And so we're trying to figure out, how do we bring this in a way that's exciting and it gives them what they're here for? I mean, that's really what it's coming down to.
There's a real hunger for spirituality.
Huge.
But like personal.
100%. Yeah, right. And
Scottish Rite has it.
And
sure.
You can hear the difference. Scottish Rite, right? Scottish Rite has it.
Yeah.
And you can hear the different conversations depending on who you're talking to. Some people they don't really mind it at all. They're not looking for that one bit.
Oh, okay.
They're looking for a night to get out of the house, meet with the boys, hang out, which is cool. We got to cater to those guys too. But a good chunk of the new Masons are looking for that spirituality growth. They want that light, to be brought upon them. And so it's fun, it's exciting. But now we're at this road where we're trying to figure out how to do it.
Yeah, so I appreciate you inviting me out, what was it, maybe a few months ago?
Yeah.
And we did an alchemy presentation, which was really cool. We kind of combined the sciences with the spiritual.
Right.
And seemed to have the attendance was fantastic.
Yep.
And we had a great time. So I want to thank you for inviting me out and allowing me to do a presentation I really enjoyed doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that presentation. As you know, I've sat in your class a couple times, right, before that, right? And for me, that's a really cool way to take the actual alchemy, right, and the physical alchemy, and turn it into like, well, how can we look at what we just did and translate this to our life?
Yes.
So what should we be doing on the daily that looks like this, but spiritually?
Absolutely.
Mentally, right?
Yeah.
And so it's captured. It's fascinating. I love it. So yeah, I'm glad you could come out. And I still at home. I've got my pennies. You know, I've got my different colored pennies just sitting at home. It's just it's an easy reminder.
Just that transformative. Just you gotta if we're going from copper to zinc, there's a lot of things that have to happen in that in that chemistry, and then we're going from zinc to brass, so we can show those transformative processes, which for our spirit, our soul, whatever you want to call those things in Scottish Rite, you're putting yourself through these processes, and it's a personal journey. It's not about this person or that person. That's what I loved about it so much. It was all about, what am I seeing? What am I going to speculate about?
Sure.
And then listening to others and going, wow, that's what you saw.
Yeah.
And then hearing it from people, from brothers from around the world.
Yes.
And then how they see the degrees and stuff like
Yes.
that. Let's talk just a little bit about the degrees.
Yep.
When I went through the degrees, the thing that it taught me the most is, and I've been through a few times, a few of the reunions, was kind of funny. Be like this guy, not like this guy.
Yeah, that's a simple way to put it, right? Yeah, absolutely.
And then the second thing that you hit on, which I've been doing, and I'm really enjoying doing it is finding people in the community that are giving back.
Yeah.
And they don't want anything in return.
No, they're not.
And it's about going out, and it's really important to let those people know there's somebody out there that really appreciates what they're doing,
Right.
and providing them something, to recognize them.
Secretly teaches that it's contagious.
Yes.
Right? Like,
yes.
It doesn't say that.
Yeah.
It never once does it even mention that.
That's
but
great.
That's kind of the idea, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it secretly kind of gives you that mentality of like, hey, this is something to pay attention to. And I guess we do use the word imitate often.
Sure.
Right? So, imitate that philosophy, and because it is a contagious mindset, right? And if you can imitate that person, someone's going to imitate you. And everybody always, there's this, we talked about having quotes, in our text messages. I don't remember the exact quotes, off the top of my head, but it's something along the lines of like, everybody, thinks about changing the world, but nobody thinks about changing themselves.
Yeah, that's
right, and it's huge, right? If you change yourselves, then you change yourself, and it's this this ripple effect that just keeps going, and eventually we've changed the world, and it started with somebody, which is huge. And I think the degrees, for me, have kind of shown me that, and have taught me that. And that's one thing I know with the Scottish Rite, right now, that's one thing we're focusing on, is the degrees. And there's so many of them, right? I mean, there's 4 through 32, so we've got 29 degrees. And then I'm going to throw out the other 2, right? Those are honorary degrees. And unfortunately, I don't have that 30 to talk about, right?
Same here,
But so we've got that core 29, and they're the higher degrees, right? They're just an extension of the first 3. We're not learning anything necessarily new. We're taking a deeper dive into them, right? We're getting a little bit more out of them. So for me as a Venerable Master, my mindset is how do I get the new Masons to understand 29 degrees? Now, that's a lot, right? And especially because a lot of these places are doing them in a weekend, right? Most of them are being communicated. Thankfully, for us, we've changed it where we were doing all of them over the course of several weekends.
I remember that. You and the Egyptian.
Right? Yeah. Full on
Egyptian. Like, doing the Egyptian?
Yeah,
all right.
Put on the costumes. Yeah. Man, and Tucson's got that gorgeous Egyptian room now.
Yeah, Rex is just,
incredible.
Man. Hope we're going to get out there in a few weeks.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, we're going to do a full video out there.
Remember walking that place, it was like, I couldn't even imagine seeing this degree happening in this room. Right? But it's things like that it's impactful. It allows you to remember what you saw and really digest it. For me, I didn't remember until I participated in it. And then I was like, I think I actually understand what this is teaching me. Like, this is great. Like, I've got the 26 of it, right? It's the Sufi one. And like, it's funny, it's comedy, it's great, it's laughable, right? But like, I didn't see it that way when I was sitting on the sidelines. Could have been half asleep, who knows, right? So it's like, how do we make sure that the new Masons are getting the information that they're actually signing up for? Like we said, that's what they're here for.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think with the degree specifically, one thing that I would love to see, I'd love to see them slow down.
Yes.
I'd really like to see them slow down.
Let us digest it.
Yeah.
Not eat it fast,
Yeah.
like fast food, but like
Right.
take a look at it, have a discussion about it.
Yeah.
Because the information in there, that I've used the word repository a lot now, the information that is encoded in these degrees is on so many levels.
Yes.
Sigmund Freud helped us get us into our subconscious mind.
Right.
Right. Then we have Jung, who helps us get into the unconscious. But these brothers were accessing it way before these guys wrote these books.
Yeah.
And these degrees help you if you really pay attention to them. The oldest thing we hear in philosophy is know thyself.
Yes.
What do you mean, know thyself?
Right.
I know myself. Do I really?
Right.
No,
Yeah.
no. I don't have access to that sub and that unconscious. But going through these degrees, you start seeing things and then they reflect back on you.
Yes.
You get access to those parts, and then you can look at them and go, yeah, let's change that.
Yeah.
I felt this day and age, the brothers that are coming in, it seems as though we're working on that level now.
Oh yeah.
We're actually even sharing, like, man, like I did this, I didn't even know, and I've changed it, and we're high-fiving.
Yeah.
And like you said, then it becomes contagious.
Right.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah, well, yeah, once somebody feels open enough to communicate about their journey, then it's like, hey, maybe I should try that too, right? Yeah. Yeah. And you're right. You were mentioning that it's the subconscious and the unconscious and all that, right? I mean, that's a huge key piece on our day-to-day activity. Right? I mean, we don't know it. We don't
be aware. One of the most important things I learned was I had a patient. His name was Dr. David Hawkins.
Yeah.
He wrote Power versus Force.
Okay.
He was up in Sedona, and he was teaching me about the mind and the whole thing that you're not your mind. You have to understand. And some people don't quite understand that yet, right? Oh, he said to me, at some point you'll stop going into the mind.
Oh, okay. That what's
boom. You know what I mean? It's
what's
like,
wild.
And then he looks at me and he goes, Briggs, stop going into the mind.
Yeah.
And I drove home in zen.
Yeah, because what's wild
the chatter
about that?
was gone.
It's wild because like that sentence, that chunk of words is simple.
Sometimes that's all you
it's
need.
It's so
and
simple.
he said that too. So
but it's so incredibly deep. Right?
But the key is, and
what is that? 5 words, right?
No,
but like you got even just hearing it, you almost don't have a response because you have to.
You can be aware of your
what
mind.
you just said.
We're not taught this, but in Masonry, that's kind of the undertone.
Sure.
The mind is the stone of the philosopher
Right.
You're going to change.
Right. Well,
It's the catalyst for everything you do.
That's kind of that same idea, right? Where if you're hearing something in your head, that's not you.
Yeah.
You're hearing.
It's just survival.
Yeah. Exactly. Stop going into the mind.
But get into them.
Yeah.
Peace.
And that's hard.
Man, I can get there now.
That's awesome.
It took a long time.
That's awesome. And I've done it a couple times. I've done it a few times. It's the one time that you and I did it on, just a video conference.
Did that work?
We FaceTime. I mean, it was quick. I remember that one time I was like, I had it for a second.
That's all you can get a day.
But that 1 second, it's weird because and we've talked about this too with like kind of astral projection and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if it's the excitement of it happening or if it's the unknown of like, whoa, what was
the brain?
It was silent
survival
for
brain.
a second. What
goes,
was that?
Goes, whoa.
Yeah, and then that snaps you out.
But then you go, that's right. Whoa.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's fascinating.
The last time I was out at Scottish Rite, it was great to see you as Venerable Master.
Yep.
What was also great to see was our most worshipful brother, Rex Hutchins.
Yes.
Everybody knows Rex by his books.
Yes.
Sitting, and I was kind of watching you, and I was watching him, and he was like, all right. And I remember him walking past you going, good job.
Yeah, and
there's nothing better than that.
You're right. And it's crazy to me because I mean, this goes all over the country. I mean, everybody's just a person.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And it's wild because we get people that come in from out of state. There's a guy that I don't know if you met him. His name's Chop. His name's Thomas Sedenfelder.
Sure.
Goes by Chop.
Okay.
Runs our lights, runs our audio actually. So at the meeting, you would have saw him up in the booth running the audio. He's from Minnesota, new guy, right? And he's like, dude, that's Rex, like Rex Hutchins, like the Rex Hutchins that writes our books, right? It's like, oh yeah. Like, that's Rex.
Yeah.
Because, right, he's just a brother.
He worked for Manly Palmer Hall in California.
Yeah,
that's him.
Yeah, right? And it's like, do you think he would sign my book? I'm like, yeah, I mean, he's just another guy, right? But it's cool to have that level of knowledge sitting in the lodge room. When a topic comes up, we can always just ask for Rex. Hey, Rex, would you mind sharing on that? And there's a wealth of knowledge in that gentleman, which is incredible. So to get him to just come up and just, hey, that meeting was ran very well. It's like it's another level of,
because he'll tell you the truth.
100%. Absolutely, yeah. If it was not run well, you would know it.
If any brothers would like to visit the Scottish Rite in Phoenix, what's the best way to contact somebody and maybe get a hold of you guys to come check it out?
Yeah, so we actually just bought a new building.
Beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
The lights.
It's an old church. So it's set up very, very theological, which is great.
Yeah.
Right? But it's on the west side. It's 59th Avenue in Northern, roughly. But the easiest way is actually probably online.
Okay.
And I found that the scottishrite.org is the easiest one. It's actually our Supreme website. So
okay.
It's the website from Washington, D.C., but that goes for Arizona, it goes for all over, right? As long as it's the southern jurisdiction of the United States, it's on there. It's super easy. They've got basically like a lodge locator button. You give them your address, your zip code, and it sends you all the info you need. So secretary's number, address, everything else. By far the easiest way to get involved is probably the scottishrite.org website.
As always, as we ended our live shows, we're going to end these shows as well with a quote to possibly help you get through the week, something inspirational. So, Brother Michael Gatti, if you could leave us a quote.
Yeah, I've got two for you, Briggs.
Oh, fantastic.
I've got two for you. One of them is my own. The other one I've kind of manipulated to be my own, and I don't remember where I originally heard it.
All right.
I was having a conversation with another brother one time, and I told him, I said, the universe speaks to everyone, but only a few of us know how to listen. Yes. Right? And it's like, that's one of those things where it's true everywhere.
Gotta be silent.
You gotta be silent, right? And we're the receiver, and the universe is probably always talking, but who takes the time to actually
We are the receiver.
Right? Yeah, we're the receiver, right?
Yeah.
So love that quote. And then another one of my favorite ones, I shared this at the Masonic, at the Scottish Rite meeting the other day, because one thing that we need in Masonry in general is help, right? I mean, we need people to devote their time and volunteer and help in the community, help with the lodge room. I mean, that's the biggest value that we have as a fraternity is giving everybody time. Yeah. Right? So I told everybody, I said, I know everybody in this room and probably everybody watching believes that our life is eternal. Right? And when we die, we don't. We continue to go on.
It's just a flash.
It's a flash, right? It's a stepping stone. Which means if you believe that life is eternal, then you cannot sacrifice your life, which makes time the most valuable thing on earth.
Woo! That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Woo! All right.
Good one, right?
See you guys. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.